Liverpool, though, why did it not happen for them? Was it all Real Madrid, or was this more symptoms of their malaise?
Liverpool kind of started okay, first 5-10 minutes. They had quite a lot of possession in the attacking third, but it was almost like that's all they had. And once that didn't work, they just became so timid. They had one shot in the whole of the second half, which was Harvey Elliott late on. And it was just, as Rory said, the commentators were still going, Istanbul, this could happen. And it was like, it's not going to happen. And it kind of capped off by a kind of ridiculously long VAR check in injury time for a penalty for Real Madrid. But, I mean, at that point, don't do it. Just, it made no difference. And Jurgen Klopp was just chuckling away on the touchline.
It was also very clearly a penalty. I mean, I don't really understand handball anymore, but if you've done a VAR check, and the ref went to watch it, it hit his hand. It shouldn't be a penalty, but in the current laws, it is a penalty.
It was like VAR equivalent of when you're 7-0 up and the ref just gives 1 minute of stoppage time. Like,
To me, watching Liverpool, they look, and this has been the case quite a lot this season, in kind of the bulk of a game, they look like a perfectly competent team. Like they're quite well organised, and they recycle the ball like you're meant to, and they do all these things. And there's long spells where you think, they're okay, they're fine, and they're on the same pitch as one of the best teams in Europe, the reigning European champions, all these wonderful players. And it's not like Liverpool kind of look like they don't belong there, but they're just, and it was in really sharp contrast last night. They did not look at any point like a team that had any idea how to hurt their opponent, or even kind of what their plan for hurting the opponent was meant to be. And I think there's been a lot of talk about kind of Liverpool need a rebuild, and they need 10 players, they need 15 players, they need 20 players. But I think the first thing is they're trying to work out what sort of team they want to be now, because they seem to have lost that. And it seemed particularly kind of evident last night that you'd occasionally get these little bursts from Real Madrid's midfield, not even from Kroos and Modric, who are two of the best midfielders of their generation, but sort of occasionally Camavinga kind of burst forward and just inject a little bit of pace into the play, change the rhythm of the game. Liverpool don't have that at all. The number of times Liverpool kind of had possession and seemed to not know where they were meant to be going with it, or they'd delay, or they'd play the wrong pass, or they'd make the wrong choice, or Fabinho would just kind of whip the ball out for a goal kick. There's a real kind of malaise is a great word for it. They just look like a team that don't know what idea of the game they have anymore. And that, I think, is the first thing that Klopp has to address.
I don't think I've ever seen a team make more overhit passes in a single game than Liverpool did. Literally every cross. Trent Alexander-Arnold hit 2 crosses out of play on the opposite touchline twice. It's just I agree.
And even the corners, Liverpool's corners last night should be placed in a museum for how not to take corners.
Really?
Surely that is
what kind of museum would that be, Rory?
I mean, it would be a niche one,
Brexit
James. I'm not going to lie
museum.
to you. Exactly.
How not to take corners? A Brexit museum.
The Imperial Score Museum.
Right. Okay. Rafa, sorry, you were patiently...
Yeah, or impatiently. I kind of disagree with Rory. I think Liverpool do not look competent. I think every game could either go really well or really badly. It's a coin flip with this team. They're either totally on it and score from every single shot on goal, as they did against Man United, or the City game, or they struggle and lose against Bournemouth. And there is no sort of happy medium for this team. And I think they're built in a way that when 1 or 2 players don't perform at their level best, or even at an acceptable level, like Fabinho, for example, or Van Dijk, everything, I don't want to say falls apart, but there isn't a lot of safety. There is no safety net to their game. They need 3 or 4 important players to be totally on it. They need to be with the energy that was clearly missing yesterday again. And otherwise, they cannot just sort of muddle through and somehow eke out a win, playing at 60, 70% like the really good teams seem to be doing. And I think that's because the team and the football isn't built to do that. And at the moment, they cannot get performances reliably at an 85, 90% level. And that's why every game is a coin flip.
They're 6 points off the top 4. That's the only thing that can save their season now. They have a game in hand on Spurs. Will they make it?
And you can easily see them winning all 11 games.
Yeah.
And you can easily see them losing 6 out of 7 out of those games.
I was going to say that I think the problem they've got for the top 4 is that by the time they next play, which is at Man City at the start of April, or by the end by the end of that weekend, they could be 12 points off Spurs, and that is a lot of points to make up in the space of 6 weeks. I think there is a good chance that losing at Bournemouth kind of did for them, really. That said, Spurs are deeply inconsistent, so you can't rule it out completely.
Basically, we don't know, listener.
It's Brighton's to lose.
The Totally Football Show podcast is available 3 times a week, bringing you all the football news you could reasonably be expected to care about. We've got views, we've got stats, we've got analysis, we've got some of the best football writers around, and the whole thing is absolutely free. So have a listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or all the usual places by clicking on the link below.